Thank you.
I have a couple questions and
Mhm.
a comment. I'd like to discuss this evening the process of how this is handled in the future. That's what part of this discussion is going to be today. Because we've had offers on this property. This individual made another offer last year when the appraisal was done. By extending this, do we say, okay, you've made a full price offer on the appraised property? Full price. And that's not based on any of the new capacity fees or costs that they're going to incur. It could very easily lower the price. Full price off. There's a little misunderstanding. There's not room for a parking garage on the property. Just to let everybody clear, it's a very small parcel. So you either get full price for a piece of property, or you try to ask them to put parking in there, which it doesn't have room. You either get full price, or you deduct from that if they're gonna give up part of this parcel for parking. We have a land use plan. We know what we've asked them. We've all approved it to put there if somebody does something. We also have our zoning that we have in place now, our code in place. But if the question is for us, first, what is the process? We have a firm bid from somebody that gave us our appraisal. So now are we gonna give 120 days for, they stepped up to the plate after we said, well, somebody give us a bid, an offer. And now are we gonna step up and say, great, thanks for the offer. Now we're gonna put it out for auction. See who can make a better deal. So I need to know what the process is from here for people that are dealing in real estate with this, with our city, that if we're taking offers, are we gonna take and have legitimate offers and for sale, here's our sales price? Are we going, I mean, for somebody to make a full price offer on a piece of a parcel, and it was our appraisal, is pretty significant. And you can't put parking on there and still have a building on there, so who are you gonna sell it to unless we keep it for parking, which will be limited at best. We need $3 million. We have a lot of places we can put cash right now, whether it's to build a parking garage, go toward a parking garage or somewhere else. But we need cash. That's where we are strapped right now, is cash flow. And to have an asset that we did an appraisal on, somebody came in and said, I'll pay you everything you just asked for. And then we reject it, or we semi-reject it for 120 days to see if there's a bigger and better option. So before we make that decision, I think we better put a process in place, because I don't think it's fair and equitable to anybody making an offer that we take that offer and then negotiate with everybody else.
That goes to my question. Have we decided we're actually gonna sell this piece of property?
No.
Because I think that it's an asset
We
that we need to look at
Why
as a
wouldn't we?
whole. What are our property assets in the city, and where do we have the option if we needed it more for more city council or city space, office space for staff? Is there other options that we could use that parcel for? I don't know, because I haven't looked at all the options.
What's the value of the property and sales tax?
One thing, I don't think we're, the process the city would like to go through is looking at putting a parking garage on the existing surface parking that the library currently has, and finding partnerships to be able to do that. And if that's selling the property and selling the property goes towards that, and then we find other funding mechanisms. Here's what I can tell you. The only complaint we get about the library expansion is parking. And I think that's something that we have to take into consideration with this piece of property. So we're not wanting to look at, when we did the city hall design, we had them look at that piece of property, and you can't, you're right, there's not enough room on that piece of property to put, because we were thinking with the city hall design, we might do parking there and it won't fit there. So what we would like to do though, is have some conversations. We've had some interest, and we actually had someone else bring to us a proposal for a parking garage. So this is not the only person that has brought us different things to look at. And so we would like to have some time to bring people to the table. What the city would also like to do is, we have the ability, we think, to get an actual design on that parking garage for a 3-story. And we would like to be able to pursue getting that design. And then when we do the RFP, we can put that in there, trying to get a partnership in that. And that would be the thing that we would really like to see happen.
I don't understand when you say, we've got a price, we got a piece of property that's worth X. And if we get all the cash for it, the cash goes toward the parking.
Yeah, but we don't
So-
have the rest of the funding for a parking garage. And so that's why I would say, really, to do these things well, and it's like when we do a park or anything else, we go find all those funding mechanisms to actually build it, right? And that's what we're asking to be able to do in this parking garage, is have those conversations, not just sell this. And number one, we can't, yeah, you could negotiate some sort of parking, but agreement, I guess, to keep the parking until, but we need to be able to have the ability to go find partners in a parking garage on that surface partnering. So we have all that funding. So when we say we're gonna do the project, we've got all the funding, which you guys want the capital improvement plan with all the funding mechanisms, right? That's what you've been asking us to do. And so to be able to do that, we already have interest really without even we haven't solicited really this. I think we got unsolicited bids on this piece of property, right? And like I said, to say that, I mean, this is not just the only one that has come to us. This is the only one that's come to us with a price offer, but we have had another one come to us with looking at a partnership in a parking garage there. And we feel like we need to vet those ideas so that we do get parking with whatever else comes with that in that area. And we would like to make sure we have all the
cash, the parking garage.
I think parking garage is a different
I mean-
conversation than whether or
So,
not we're gonna sell that
We
piece.
think we would like to visit with others to see if there is opportunity for, like you see, parking garages now being built, right? It's not just parking. There could be opportunity for space, but that's got to be talked about with partnerships to see if we can get the funding to be able to put those things in it. And we have to be able to have that ability and the city council to let us have those conversations and see what type of proposals. You will ultimately vote on whatever it is, but we would like to have the ability to go put those options on the table and make sure everybody, not just a couple people, know about this piece of property and see what we get in the next 180 days or 120 days, whatever.
My question
what you wanna
is,
do.
why would we rush into this? I mean, why would we? I mean, I see some value in both ways, but I'm also one that I want to see the research and I want to see what the options.
Yeah, I think we need to see options. I feel like we're trying to make a decision on something. I don't even know what the alternatives are.
Yeah,
don't think we
and that's really what
sell
the city would be asking tonight, is to get sort of some, go forward from city council, that we can go have these conversations, put things together, bring those back to you guys so you can have options to look at.
And that's where we were
Put it off,
after,
correct?
after the last time we talked about this piece of property and talked about doing an RFP. We had went back to the drawing board and we're looking at options and what needed to be put in an RFP. And then we received this offer. And so we're talking about it tonight.
But it's a solicited offer. We haven't actually decided what we want to do.
We haven't put this
First off,
property out to
it's
bid.
made.
We want to sell.
I'm
But
only in favor
both
of
of them
selling
have
it if
been
the
up-
offer solves what we want to solve, and it's really, really good, and so,
So I just
So-
wanna,
well,
We just want to
parking,
get some
retail, all the, yeah, no.
they're not gonna solve the parking on this property.
I don't think.
It's not gonna
parking
solve
is
anything with
really-
parking. You can't build anything if you put parking there. But if we get the millions of dollars for it at full price to go towards our portion of funding for a parking garage on the library. funding.
Wait and see if we could get something that offered more, better, different, like,
More
why
better-
would we?
And why
why
would
would we to rush into the first?
Didn't Mayor say that one of the potential opportunities was a package deal that include that land plus the parking garage over the
Yeah.
It
library?
included a parking garage, not just buying it.
So it sounds like there's
But that-
opportunities to
I think there
explore.
are some opportunities that we would like to.
Well, I'm not comfortable voting anything until we have a process in place that people know they can rely on when they make offers on real estate that they know is available. Because to bring offers to the table, and this isn't their first offer, they were low on their appraisal last time. They made a full boat this time. So they came back with this. So this isn't the first time we've gotten this. So I think we need to establish how this council addresses offers on our property so that people making offers have a process that they know it's gonna have happen, because now people know that this is the price out there and there's a valid offer. So they get to outbid them.
But it should
This,
be
this
a
is not a
public
fair,
offering.
this is not a fair process.
Well, and I think there's a little bit of uniqueness to this piece of property because we know we need to incorporate parking into this. And I think
Into that lot?
To
There's no
do
way
the
you can
surface
do that.
parking on
Okay.
going up. And so that's what but, so I
What I'm
think
trying
it's
to
a
figure
little
out
bit
is
of uniqueness
doesn't provide any-
to that piece
No,
of it.
but this
And
lot doesn't
again,
provide any help, never
To
did
be
that.
fair, it's gotta be a public RFP. or
Well,
a
and again,
public
we haven't-
offering.
we haven't
It's
put
an
a-
unsolicited bid,
it
and I
is
think
an
it's not
unsolicited
fair to
bid.
the rest of the potential.
there is also, I mean, in that current offer,
Buyers.
there are brokerage fees and other things in there that we would not be able to agree to. So
$100,000 in brokerage.
But I don't think dragging it on for another 180 days is fair to that buyer either.
In my opinion, we should immediately reject the offer and
think you're
do
looking at a lot
whatever
of
the
money
investigations we need.
Thrown away.
According to the buyer's specifications, he will charge us $10,000 every month for 2 months after we postpone, after we don't make a decision, if we require an extension to our decision. So in my opinion, we should reject the offer immediately and then get not only 120 days or 180 or whatever the time is needed. When it comes to our terms in our time, without constraining ourselves to anything, then we can make a decision on this property as to what it is best to do with it.
You put it out. to bid,
And-
then
You do
make it
whatever you
available
want
to
to.
sell. But you do it just like you would.
yeah,
any
they
other piece
emailed
of property.
the
But as of now,
email.
Oh,
this
so I don't think I
to
know. Okay, I was wondering how everybody already
It
read it.
came the day of the last meeting.
I hear
you.
Yeah, so it's like 2.5 weeks ago.
I'm sure I
Yeah.
didn't miss it.
Bill, so your ask, if I heard you right a second ago, was that before we do anything with any of our pieces of property that we establish some kind of SOP for how we deal with
I think if you
prospective
don't have a
buyers?
Fair understanding between buyer and seller, even at the initial offering stages. It's not a fair process for either party. It's not, in the real estate business, you have to have an element of certainty
Mhm.
for whether you're the seller or the buyer. And you usually, in real estate rules, you either reject the offer, you move forward, or you accept their extension or whatever it is. But the way we're talking about it is, well, we're just waiting for bigger, better things. There's nothing in the process. We don't have a standard operating procedure for how we deal with real estate, how we're marketing our real estate. You talked about an RFP, but, stick a sign on it and tell them how much you want, if you want to do that. But we did do an appraisal and say, here's the appraisal. So we gave them a price. So I'm just trying to understand.
Bid offer, we haven't put anything out.
I'm just,
It is an unsolicited offer and you do have the ability to reject it
I'm
or.
just trying to think where we're gonna come up with the money to go toward the parking garage. Is somebody,
I mean,
I think the only fair thing is come up with a policy and then put it out there for sale, put it up for sale. just
well,
like
we're
you would any
cash flow
other contract.
tight.
I think what you're
If that's what you
saying
wanna do.
is probably correct in the end. I don't know that we want to own the library or this building into perpetuity.
Right.
Because it's not, even if we leveled the building and we put parking spaces all over it, it wouldn't, the value of the land is a lot more valuable than how many parking spots we
Right.
have.
We're asking is to, not take this agreement tonight. Number one, like I said, there's brokerage fees in there that we could not agree to regardless, so. And give us an opportunity to be able to have some public conversations to see if there is any interest and be able to bring to you, this may offer. But there may be 2 or 3 other options that we can bring to you, for consideration, and we feel like that,
So we need,
especially knowing that that the big issue there is parking, and so just selling that and not having a game plan to be able to get parking there is not what the city would recommend is in the best interest of the city. That's just,
Well, I don't think we should keep an open offer dragging out by
I agree.
extending it. I think we should actually just decline.
Reject the
It
offer
seems
until we
like
put it on
the
the
general consensus and then start fresh. I feel like doing the RFP when there's an open offer isn't
Yeah.
really appropriate.
in my mind, if a similar offer had been for the land that we have on 41st Street, it would have been a totally different story. But in here, this is the only place that the city has, the only piece of land that the city has that has the possibility of alleviating the problem of parking that it is at the library, which is a serious problem. This is not only at this particular location, but also is gonna be aggravated by the fact that the first floor that we had just a couple of doors down the street, I mean, up north, the first, we lease the air out in that particular property on A Street. And we were to keep the first space, the first floor for public parking. But we have avoided that. We have avoided that situation. It is not public parking anymore. It is exclusive parking for the adult recreation center. So we have lost those 120 spaces or whatever the number they were. We don't have those anymore. Those people are gonna be looking for spaces. And if we were to use this space for $3 million, which is a significant amount of money, but it doesn't help us resolve the problem.
You're not gonna get parking on that property.
No, I
If
understand.
the tax revenues that you're gonna receive from having something that can produce revenue,
Yes,
and if the property taxes increases and the revenue from that,
yes.
and the cash from the sale of that to go toward a cash-strapped city to build a parking garage, we could set those funds aside and we would start our funding with a large chunk of cash.
In the meantime, we are gonna have the 16 library employees expelled from the property at a certain time.
Oh.
And then they'll have to go and look for spaces somewhere else. So that is gonna be even worse.
Then make the parking at the library for library only during business hours.
Here's, what I would ask is that you give us an opportunity to bring back solutions to this, and that is the request from the city on this, so if we need to have a show of hands, who's willing to let us do that, but we have to have, here's what I'm asking also, is that we don't promise things like parking by selling something that only gets us a portion of what we need to have to do a garage, and don't promise things to the citizens without having all those funding mechanisms in place to be able to deliver it. And if you sell this piece of property and you say, we're gonna put that money towards that, but we don't have the rest of the funding, that's exactly what you're doing. And we've done that in the past, and I would ask us not to do that again.
Yes.
So
totally
we're
agree
looking
on it.
for an RFP or a partner who would potentially be interested in giving us the value of the building and assisting and partnering in building a parking garage. That's the ultimate thing we're looking
For the
for.
value of that
But then we're
property.
looking for that, even if we're looking.
that's what
for
we're-
money out of
We're
that.
trying to solve the
we're
problem
looking
in that
for-
manner
Yes.
instead of piecemeal.
Yeah.
So basically, we want like $4.5 million for a property appraised.
Well, we're probably looking for a
Well,
fairly unique partner.
The other thing I would tell you is whatever gets built on there will need parking, right? And
Based on
so-
our zonings, whatever it
the,
has to be, it has to be.
But that's how we got into the problem of needing parking, because the library was built based on our requirements for parking and it met it. The requirements are not
Well, the
not
parking's
working,
being
right?
used
So the
by others.
downtown parking, so that's what I'm saying. If we continue to do that, you will continue to have parking problems. So I'm asking you to not do that.
Are you saying that we shouldn't take any offers on that property because it'll be hard for them to accommodate the parking requirement downtown? And I don't think we can do that either.
Well, I'm saying our current parking requirements actually get met with library expansion. That is not working though with reality. We have a parking concern there. So we built the library and the number of spaces it had to have for our parking requirements is not working. It's not adequate. So I think I'm asking to look at reality of the situations and listen to the public. And so moving forward, the right thing to do is try to figure out how you get parking on the surface parking that's already there that we already own, right? And how do you go up with that? And how do you build the funding mechanism to be able to do that? And I think a piece of that pie is that property. And so we're asking to be able to utilize that in some conversations and give us a little bit of time to do that. And not just immediately take this offer. That is the ask of the city.
Totally agree on that, which means the offer is gonna be rejected right away, correct?
Well,
That's what you all want to do, yes.
I'm wondering if that is gonna be the logical sequence of this. We reject
Or
them.
they could, I mean, we can talk to them and maybe they will extend I don't, I mean, but we don't, I mean, we just need to tell them that we're asking for more time to have more conversations to see if there are other options we can bring to the table. And if you want to say it's 180 days or 120 days or whatever,
We don't need
it'll
to.
be their choice. We can fully reject it, or they may decide that they, you know,
I
want-
think this
want
whole
to-
idea of a parking garage is a separate issue. It really doesn't have anything to do with the property offer. We have to decide, do we want to sell this piece of property? And if so, is that a reasonable offer? Or do we want to make it fair? Put together, make a decision, however much time it takes, and then say, we're gonna open it up by putting it on the market. Everybody knows it's available to make a bid on, just like any other asset, but I don't want to give away an asset prematurely if we can use it for another need. And I'm not talking about a parking garage. There may be something else that comes up.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is you want us to just outright reject the
Yes.
offer initially? So I don't
mean,
think that's any,
The truth is, I guess if we reject it, they can make an offer 2 weeks from now.
yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean,
Yep.
and
And I think
we're
the,
just not acting on it, I guess. I mean, we're not agreeing
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
Well, you can let it expire, you can do whatever you want to
Yeah,
do.
I mean, it'll just, how long does it go for?
Before anybody else makes anything, you don't have some parameters in place, like we're not gonna pay any commissions. That needs to be in a listing format that we're selling this land, but hey,
I think that's,
remember, we're not paying any brokerage fees. What is our rules of our selling? We need to have a process here because this isn't gonna be fair.
In the past, when we've sold real estate, I'm thinking back to like the utility drive-through and those kind of things, we took sealed bids, I think. I don't
we've done
think
it both
we did
ways.
Offers like this.
But I do think,
Place and.
But we-
just-
Yeah.
well,
We said we wanted bids, we didn't just get unsolicited.
Yeah.
bids.
and I think that's, to your point, Bill, I think that's something that could be beneficial to put together would be to say, okay, here's the parameters for when the city receives an offer unsolicited, here's what we do with it.
Because we could get an offer tomorrow morning on this property.
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, somebody could be like, I want to buy this and I'm giving $20 million. So
Yeah.
we might or might not want it.
And I think that would be helpful.
What I think is a little bit unique with this is the parking discussion with this that we're trying to solve for. And so that's
And-
what,
I don't-
Well, and part of the reason we're thinking about parking comprehensively here is if there were additional parking available, let's say through a garage across the street that has lease back or purchase back spaces at the library, well, then all of a sudden it allows for additional development capacity on the AT&T lot. That's why we're looking at both lots and thinking about this more comprehensively.
No,
And then it's worth.
There's no
perhaps it's
debate.
worth
I
more if
don't
you
think
could
there's a
do
question whether
multi-story.
it's a parking garage. But we had the same discussion in 18, 15 about setting aside money for water and sewer.
Mhm.
Well, we don't know how much it cost yet. So we can't do that until we have all the facts. And it was previous to your administration and during the last 10 years. So just because you don't have the total, and the same thing I said in the meeting in 21, just because we don't have the total, doesn't mean we know, we don't know that we need to raise money. And so you could certainly set aside any sale and any asset and any cash to put toward what we all believe to be a parking garage.
what I would ask though is that I think we have an opportunity to really understand what the cost is based on the square footage and I would ask that you give us a little bit of time to bring you some options that
Uh-huh.
really do have a number to it. So you know what, when you tell the public we're gonna building parking garage, you know, this is the number, this is the funding number we have to get to. We don't just sell this with only getting a small portion of that. And I just think, you know, to do what we need to do for a growing city, you need to be able to have those numbers in place. And again, if you sell it outright right now, you don't give us that opportunity to put that information in front of you and try to come up with a plan to actually get the parking garage not only designed, but built and paid for. And that's in my opinion, that's the responsible way to go about this.
But if the only options we're talking about are putting a parking garage on, I don't know, I think.
It's not-
We're not
it's not
talking
gonna
about a
work.
parking
We
garage
just
there.
say if we wanna sell it or not, or we
We're-
wanna keep
we're
the
not-
asset.
We're not talking,
Don't put it out on the market.
we're not talking about a parking garage on that
Okay, then let's-
facility. We're talking about a parking garage on the surface parking that we already own at the library.
On the library.
On the
parking.
library parking.
And I
But it
think
all
what-
goes.
But it would,
I think what we're trying to say, Cindy, is if we just outright sell 402 South Main Street without having put forethought into what is the broader parking solution for the surrounding area, well, then we've just exacerbated the existing.
That would be like,
So that's,
Policy in place on how we're gonna handle unsolicited offers and put a policy in place on what we require if we put assets on the market.
it would be like selling this property again and not having a plan for where we're gonna have city hall. I mean, it's the same thing.
yeah. Right.
But
Well,
I agree with Bill. We need a process. Somebody needs to know if the city, if you want to buy anything the city owns, unsolicited, this is what's gonna happen. And that's it.
Well, and this offer expires tomorrow
Yeah.
at 5 o'clock. So
That's
I
why
don't
they-
even think we have to decline it. I would just rather just expire
Let
it
Mhm.
and us not have any conversation. Because then that way, well, it expires tomorrow. He put a timeline on it, not us. It's very fair. He
We
called
don't
the
act
shots.
Well, it's typically not, when you talk about, well, I'll have an appraisal done, and typically one person does an appraisal, the other does an appraisal, and we merge the two to see what's a fair price. They didn't even check that. They said, I'll give you what you put out for appraisal.
They clearly want to own.
So
The parking problem in this area is real. It has, for example, the library expanded almost twice the space it had a few
but the
years ago.
library appraisals
Wait.
aren't the only ones using the parking spots. That's
Wait,
the problem.
Bill, let me complete the conversation. So the library expanded almost twice the previous size, and it only increased a few spaces in the parking lot. Even though it met the regulations that the city has, the reality is totally different. There is no parking for whatever reason, in the same way that we have insufficient parking in this building because the parking that we built is used by other entities and we don't have enough. The situation is difficult, very difficult.
But it's definable.
Hold it, I'm
The
working.
reason that we don't have it here is definable. We talked about it, and over there it's definable.
You'll continue later. Let me finish. So I'm saying the parking problem is real and has happened there. Now it has been exacerbated by the closing of the first floor that we promised the public that it was going to be public. Now it is not. It is only dedicated for the new facility that we recently opened. And not only that, but if we sell this property, they are going to give us, according to their proposal, a few months for us to hold those spaces while they remodel. Those spaces are currently used by the library, which alleviates the problem that exists in the library itself. So those spaces are going to be, those cars are going to be up in the air looking for a space. Now, additionally, the business that is built in that particular location is going to require some spaces, which is going to aggravate the problem. That's what I said. Forget about this offer, forget about this deal. Let's concentrate on something, on the problem that it is parking, and then this will be a piece of the solution. But at the moment, it is not.
So I think what we need is just sort of a show of hands to, I don't know if we're rejecting or just letting it, basically
Not
just let
act on the
it, not
offer.
act on the offer, let it expire. So if we could get a show of,
I want it to expire.
So we
Let it
aren't gonna act
Since
on
we
it.
did not send out an RFF.
expire
after-
and not act, in my mind, is the same thing. So
Yes.
I would say if you are in favor of not acting or letting it expire, if you could raise your hand.
Is there a reason we wouldn't just reject it?
We will, not what?
Because it expires tomorrow, so rejecting.
we didn't
it
ask for
today
it.
Doesn't really,
It'll have the same effect either way.
right? So if we could get a show of hands on that, so
I
we
like things
can.
wrapped up. I'm a realtor
Yeah,
and I like
me
con-
too.
wrapped
Reject
up.
it, yeah.
Yeah, this whole process isn't, we're not dealing with the contract. We
So
don't have
is there
a
a
process.
blank
for
on
the
here where we say no?
Yeah.
Check the box.
There is a rejection down there, and then, like it
So
always
reject.
is, and an offer and acceptance. And if we're not gonna pay commissions to any
mean, I'm
brokerage
okay
firm,
with
then we need to let
rejecting it.
that be known.
That motion.
Yeah, I
Want to
we
reject
reject
it,
it.
we can do that.
I don't
So I
think
would
there's any
say-
difference.
Second that idea.
We have a motion and a second to reject the offer. We're not really voting on this because it's
No.
in committee of the whole. But what we need is just a show of hands, because it's just discussion,
Reject,
to reject it.
reject.
Okay. and I
So
think
let me
that's-
ask you a question. I know this is a meeting of the whole, but if this was going to be rejected formally, shouldn't it be rejected in the meeting and not just meeting of the whole, since this is,
Can't the mayor
Is
reject
this
it?
the only offer we've got?
She has
Well,
a-
then
Well, doesn't-
I guess,
does real estate offers for sale and for purchase and sale doesn't have to come through the council? Is that
She
not a
can't
problem?
Accept an offer. Well, she could accept it pending council approval.
Well, that's what I'm trying to understand, is the process for selling real estate is only lean on the mayor's office?
it's gonna come through here, whatever the offer is. It will come through city council.
Okay,
That's what we're saying. We're just trying to, because they gave us an unsolicited offer and put a timeline on it, we needed to have a discussion.
But shouldn't we still
Personally,
have
I
a
would just let it
discussion?
expire and then, but if you feel like we need to reject it,
We don't need to respond. We just let it expire
Mm.
tomorrow.
that's what, yes.
So we don't have to officially act on it.
Okay, but just so we know, Cindy, that's what the recommendation was, and then you just said that we need to reject it. So
this is what happened
I
last
want to
time.
make sure that we all understand, we're just a show of hands to just let the offer expire. Okay, thank you.
I would like to put a
Then we
timeline
will
on
work
getting
on
it
a,
involved as soon as
a process
Mhm.
that we can bring back to you all and discuss, because that,
In that process is the cost of a parking garage. Will that come back to us? Like what an actual
well,
cost?
those
would
are
be?
gonna be.
We could get the
we are-
cost of parking
we are
garage.
going- Yes.
Yeah, because
We'll
it
ask
is
about it.
surprisingly high. Like
Yes.
from my limited bit of knowledge of working on a project, I had no idea how much more expensive it was. And so I just want like a ballpark, like, what are we?
Well, there's been several permits.
I don't
in
think our
Bentonville
goal
and
is
all
like
that stuff.
$60,000 a spot or something.
That's what that's what I'm
And
very.
We don't, we think we have some ability to compare it based on the size.
Yeah, I would like
And
for
it's
that.
already been built, so we have a very known price on that. And
We do have that.
so we think we think we have the ability to do that. It's gonna take us a little bit of time to be able to do that, but we can compare it to something.
So basically,
Bill.
all it comes down to is that property usable for us, city business, or do we want to sell it and use the money for other needs that we have? And that's the decision, but we do have to have a process and not, what's a timeline for getting that done?
Sooner the better. People are seeing. I think a process needs to be defined and typically use some real estate law in this, but there's been other offers that we didn't look at. Okay, we didn't get a chance to review other offers on this. We don't get a chance to look at other offers. This is the first time because we copied the council.
Do we want to accept unsolicited bids on city assets?
People,
And as a standard practice, do we typically want to just say, okay, we will bring any solicited bid to council? Or are we gonna have a process for when we put the assets on the market where people have an opportunity to bid on them publicly or by whatever method, the RFF, RFP,
well, like
whatever you
down
use?
there by the community center, we've had signs off and on for 15 years.
Yeah.
And everybody knows it's for sale, but nobody knows how to address that. There's no real estate sign saying, call this person. Here's the terms, here's our asking price, here's everything. And, it's very confusing. And so people have called, well, I've made an offer, but I've not heard back from anybody about the offer. I don't know anything, what's the process?
I personally don't think we should accept unsolicited offers.
Well, we said even in an open meeting 2 months ago that I'll take any offers.
Bill, but we need to back up a little bit and decide if we're gonna develop a process, what's fair and equitable, and are we going forward, will we review unsolicited offers, or do we say, just like we do in our bid and, in processes, that we wait till things are put on the market?
We're just not
The
listening
real question-
properties.
The real question is not It is, do we want to be aware of unsolicited offers the city receives? Because you can't keep people from giving you that. By virtue of the name of it, it's unsolicited, so they're going
But
to
we
give
have
it to
a
you.
process to deal with it. and the
Well,
Public
But the
knows.
mayor may get unsolicited things all the time. It's just a matter of how we deal with it.
But it's easy to say,
I
we
think
have a process.
Is the finance arm of this and looking at the finances that we have, if any deal comes through that is, unless it's ridiculous, and a valid offer made through a valid contract, that this council and this body needs to review that. So, because we all have to make financial decisions of where we're gonna get this money from.
And it
We should
doesn't
have-
make any sense to me not to look at offers.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Properties that we
Yes.
are trying to sell. That makes no sense.
That's right.
But if we're trying to sell it, but see, these haven't been publicly available to buy. And my question is, are we gonna get some type of backlash over only certain people bidding on properties that nobody else were aware we were selling?
That happens all the time.
Anybody can make an offer.
I
Unsolicited.
mean, anybody could, somebody could, you're right, somebody
I
could
mean, it's.
make an offer on City Hall. I mean, what I think we're asking of you is that in this particular instance, we're trying to also solve for parking. It's not just about selling the property. And so that's why we're asking to be able to put it out there and see if we can get some interest. We've already had some interest, one being what we brought in front of you. One was more around a parking garage partnership and different things. And so we're saying, let us have a little bit of time to put it out there a little bit and get some of those in a more formalized presentation we can bring to you with some commitment on the back end of that we can really put to it. And it takes a little bit of time. Again, this is how we do things in the city of Bentonville. If you've noticed with our parks and other things, and even with the library, we did a bond, right? And we got funding from the community. And then we had a foundation that came in and raised money to get that done. And so with these projects, when you need infrastructure, we need the opportunity to go talk to the public and see if we can get some partnerships. Again, that will all be brought back to you and you guys get to vote on, but we
That's what
need
we
to
just-
have that.
That's what we just raised hands to do, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
And if we also could just come up with the bulleted, unsolicited.
Here's the
offers.
process. Yeah.
We won't pay this, we won't pay this, this is what, put it on our purchasing
Yeah.
page or wherever it needs. to
And
be.
what property is available for sale? I mean, I think I know, but we're not putting any signs out. We don't have any prices. We don't have anything. We talked about doing an RFP process, but that's an open-ended negotiation, kind of. But we just need to have a better understanding that follows normal operations.
It predates me, but if I remember correctly from what I've been told, and Chris, Bill, you guys would probably know, in the past, it was when people would approach us about purchasing a property, and then that was our signal to declare it as excess and put it out to bid from there on. And then it would go through a sealed bid process.
No,
I guess
we
need to
put
do an
property up for sale.
inventory of assets, so we all know what we have and what we anticipate the value of those assets.
can do that.
Property assets being, and what they can be used for before we make a decision on what we want to sell.
We've done it a variety of ways,
Yeah.
but maybe we just need to have a standard process. That doesn't mean we can't deviate.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're asking for is a little bit of flexibility. We don't want to just put it out there and take the first offer because in this community, we think there is opportunity for private-public partnerships or different things that we have done in the past that might be more beneficial for the city in the long run if part of our goal is to get parking there. And that's what we're asking to be able to do. Okay,
Perfect.
all right.
You.
Okay. So consent agenda, we have a couple proclamations, which of course will not be on there. The rest of the items, I think, could all be put on consent except for the two planning items. If you all are interested in that.
Do you,
Everybody-
before you
the
do that,
utility
do we
plan.
need to recognize that
Yeah.
Councilmember Seba
Yeah.
is here so she can vote?
Yes.
We need to get out of committee of the whole, right?
You want to do consent agenda? and
Can
then-
correct the attendance to reflect that
Nick, do you want to give some guidance on that?
Because
Because you
present.
weren't counted as being here, so
We can note that Councilmember Siva is now present.
Your comments.
put that in.
Got it.
I got it.
I'll not be,
Even was not the voting portion.
don't be late next time.
So do you want to go through a list of the items?
Are you saying everything?
I think all the resolutions.
All the resolutions would qualify for the consent agenda.
Except for the public hearings.
No, those are setting a public hearing.
Thank you.
I just have one question on number 10.
Do you want to leave it out?
If we could,
Yeah.
on 10.
So items, new business items 1 through 9 and item 11 can all be on a consent agenda.
Yeah, 1 and 2 are proclamation.
3 through 9.
You want to do
No, mine says new business 1 and 2, sorry, 3, whatever.
3 through 9?
It says 1, 2, and then 1, 2 again, so.
There'll be 3.
All new business except item 10. How about that?
Second that.
No matter what your
Items are numbered.
And item 11, correct? Are you putting?
11 can be on consent.
If there's no budget adjustment on utility 1 and 2, and it's a resolution,
And utility 1 and 2, those are resolutions. So again, items, all new business except item 10 and utility board 1 and 2.
I second that.
Second, okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll close the committee of the whole. You need a motion for that?
Get a motion.
We need a motion, second,
so
all in
moved.
favor, say aye.
All right, I'm going to reopen the city council meeting with the new business item number 1, which is a proclamation recognizing National Treatment Court Month. That we have our judge, if you don't know, Judge Bunch. And just so you know, Jennifer is currently our clerk, but she is retiring and Jamie is here. And Jamie is taking Jennifer's place. So we should all get to know them, but I'm gonna read the proclamation, then we'll have to come forward for. Proclamation reads as, whereas treatment courts have been restoring lives and families for more than 3 decades, and whereas there are now more than 4,000 treatment courts nationwide, and whereas treatment courts are the cornerstone of justice reform sweeping the nation, and whereas treatment courts have served over 1.5 million individuals, and whereas treatment courts are now recognized as the most successful criminal justice intervention in our nation's history. And whereas the city of Bentonville is in the 15th year of our DWI court program, having had 72 participants in the program and 36 graduates to date. The graduates represent 800 plus hours of treatment. And whereas treatment courts save an average of $6,000 for every individual they serve. And whereas treatment courts reduce crime and significantly improve substance use treatment outcomes as less expensive than any other criminal justice strategy. And whereas treatment courts improve education, employment, housing, and financial stability, promote family reunification, reduce foster care placements, and increase the rate of addicted mothers delivering babies who are fully drug-free. And whereas treatment courts facilitate community-wide partnerships, bringing together public safety and public health professionals in the fight against addiction and crime. And whereas treatment courts demonstrate that when one person rises out of addiction and crime, we all rise. Now therefore, I, Stephanie Orman, Mayor of Bentonville, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2026 as National Treatment Court Month in the city of Bentonville, Arkansas. In honor of the treatment courts, the team members, and the participants who strive to address substance abuse and keep our city and citizens safe.
Happy retirement, wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Jennifer.
This is only DWI Court County, and would like to, thank the city, for their support, and, because I think it makes all of us a lot safer. It's saved in the long run, taxpayers.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you squeeze in just a little more.
We have a great relationship with the judge and the producer, so. And I'll be very nice to Jamie because she's new and trying to take all of the knowledge in her head.
Transfer.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you,
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Thank you.
Jennifer, I just want to say that all the years I've been on this, watch what you've done with this. I know we talked in private. You've helped create this and you've done a great job. And without you, I don't think we'd be where we are. So thank you for all you've done and we'll miss you.
Yeah. Thank you.
We appreciate you, Jennifer.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we
Item,
started coming HVAC work. Then that leaked and then she had it to build it. And she had the, she's handled it. And then building this school.
item number 2 is National Public Works Week. And I have a few
There
members
they are.
from Public Works. So I'll read the proclamation. Whereas 2026 marks the 66th Annual National Public Works Week, and whereas Public Works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, emergency management, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Bentonville. And whereas these infrastructures, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, electric supply, solid waste systems, public buildings, and other facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas in Bentonville, Public Works superheroes help keep communities strong by providing an infrastructure of services in transportation, water, wastewater, stormwater treatment, electric service, public buildings and spaces, public parks and grounds, emergency management, first responders, solid waste, and right-of-way management. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Bentonville to gain knowledge and maintain ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works, first responders, and public works programs in their respective communities. Now therefore, I, Stephanie Orman, Mayor of the City of Bentonville, do hereby proclaim the week of May 17th through the 23rd as National Public Works Week. And this was the first council that we could get it to, so we did work with you all on this, but this is the first time we get you in front of council, so. Y'all wanna come take a picture?
Oh, no, you can't avoid it sometimes. See, like, I see you smile. We need like a backdrop. No?
Okay, and one thing on those proclamations, we're gonna start making sure that we post them on Facebook. So if you guys wanna like and share them, I think it's, as we go through this process, really helping the public understand what services we offer here and through those proclamations, because they are usually detailed with information. That may be one way that we can kind of get that message out to the public about everything that we do here at the city and what our employees do. So, all right, with that, we will read the consent agenda items.
Okay. New business item number 3, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into an agreement with the Heartland Business Systems for renewal of cybersecurity services in an amount not to exceed $202,919.49 and for other purposes. New business item number 4 in the city council for the city of Bentonville, Arkansas. New business item number 5 in the city council for the city of Bentonville, Arkansas. New business item number 6 in the city council for the city of Bentonville, Arkansas. New business item number 7 in the city council for the city of Bentonville, Arkansas. New business item number 8, a resolution awarding bid IFB-26-31 to Emery Sapp and Sons, Inc. for the purchase of asphalt materials as required for street surface repairs and street resurfacing and for the purposes. New business item number 9, a resolution awarding bid IFB-26-33 to Innovative Roadway Solutions LLC in the amount of $336,484.70 for mastic sealer for city of Bentonville streets and for the purposes. New business item number 11, a resolution calling for a special election for the vacant position of council member, Ward 1, Position 2. Utility Board item number 1, a resolution authorizing Schumacher Phase 1 Amendment number 4 with Garver Engineering in an amount not to exceed $602,604 for engineering administration services for the Schumacher Basin Interceptor improvements and for other purposes. Utility Board item number 2, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into a change order with Garney in the amount of $212,171.18 for the construction changes on the 48-inch transmission main relocation associated with RDOT project 090512, Highway 112 relocation and for other purposes.
So move.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Zeba?
Yes.
Souter?
Yes.
Rover?
Yes.
Burkhart?
Yes.
Hook?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Patterson?
Yes.
Acre?
Yes.
Okay, item number 10. It's a resolution approving amendment number 1 with Olson Inc. for the Southwest Second and O drainage improvement.
New business item number 10, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into amendment number 1 with Olson Inc. for Southwest Second and O drainage improvements and for other purposes.
So move.
Second.
Okay, and I think we had any other
I
discussion?
just have a couple of questions on that specific amendment. On the very last page, it did not document any start date and the anticipated completion date. Was that on purpose or? It's on page 49 of the agenda. I just thought that was odd that that was left blank. And it could be because it was an amendment. It would be the same. But, well, that's what I was curious. I'm not familiar enough with the original contract
Saying on page 49,
of the agenda.
I think I'm looking, is it page 5 of 5 of the contract?
Yes, it would be.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, it shows where they are percentage.
So they've already started and they've already completed it once. We've bid it once and they're rebidding it. So I don't know if that's it's ready to go back out to bid. We just needed to rewrite this to move some of their construction inspection money over to the designs because we're changing the design to reduce the cost.
Mhm.
Can we
Get it-
see a map of that? What you're removing?
We're removing all of that up. If you could, I guess, get up a GIS map. We're removing the section that goes up O Street is it originally started, you could get to the Native American Museum on it's Southwest Second. So originally we caught the water as it came under the highway and then ran it out to O Street and then took it down the west side of O Street to the bottom of the hill because it avoided more utilities. We have now stopped it. It just runs the section parallel to Second Street and then surfaces at the curb and then heads north along the east side of O Street.
Can you pull up your drainage? Your drainage projects on there and highlight that?
Can you turn on the, I think it's shown in the, all the way to the top, there should be a bond project layer. Yeah, turn that on and see if that one shows up. Yeah, there it is. So
Thank you.
that north-south blue section is gone. So now it's just the very southernmost end where we have to get out in the highway and do a little bit of work. And then take that pipe over to Second Street.
Okay, do you have what the total, before you adjusted taking out the entire neighborhood, what was the price of the bids?
I'd have to go, it's double what the engineer's estimate was. I do not remember the numbers off the top of my head.
Those were taken when? Recently or back in 25 or when?
Oh, no, it was late 25, I would say.
Just so I'm clear, this was adjusted when we brought this to council and.
Yeah, we brought it back to the council and said we were gonna pull some scope out and try to get it down within the budget estimate for it.
I think it was a specific request from you.
Well, because the budget of the item was much higher than we're seeing elsewhere. Like, for instance, our water and sewer budgets were half of our estimates, and we're seeing lower contracting prices. So the total project then will extend Can you show me where the total project will go?
Well, it starts there and ends there.
And that total project for that portion is how much now?
Don't have those numbers off. This is an engineer, this is the engineer's contract. So they haven't put together or revised the estimates yet.
What was the budget that we have available for that project?
Bill, I don't have those numbers off the top of my head.
Yeah, we can go pull them if we need to, but we had them relook at this specifically from a request from city council.
Right, to try to get it back in budget.
You felt was, and so we got here from this body telling us to go do this.
I'm just trying to ask how much we've reduced it to. Just that portion on the highway is awful small amount. I'm just trying to ask what that amount is now versus what the whole project was before I approve a contract with the engineer to move forward. We're only talking about 100 foot, 200 foot of drainage. And so
Correct.
what, do you remember what that estimate off the top, anything?
If
Millions?
you want me, no, well, I don't believe it was in the millions. I mean, I can go get all that information together, bring it back.
Okay, I'm just trying to, if somebody can remind what the original budget was for in the bond projects for that project, and how short are we versus where we are now? It doesn't look like we're getting much work done after the removal of that.
But that is the critical work that keeps the water out of the homes, which is the direction we were taking at that point, was focus on keeping water out of homes. Those first, of those 5 homes that go from 100 to 108, 4 of them were getting water through the house every time it rained hard. And the idea was to get the water in front of the homes. We took out the section that was gonna take it in a pipe clear to the bottom of the hill. The road's steep, fairly steep, and has a good cross slope.
Yes, that was.
We're not expecting gutter spread. So that's how we got to the idea of reducing that scope out of it, bringing it back within budget.
And Olson's, since they've done the work on the previous design and they've now amended it to do this design, their scope of cost doesn't change.
Correct, because, and there, it's a small enough project, we're gonna cover the inspections with our own team as opposed to getting Olson to do it.
And that estimate and contract will come back to us in the near future.
Yeah, you'll have the estimate, and we're gonna bid it still. So you'll get the 3 bids and what the engineer's estimate is for that work as part of the bid package. It comes back.
And through Holly's question, do you know how long it might be before we get that information?
They're within weeks of getting ready to send the bid pack. I mean, they've redone the plans. They just need to get what they were after was they currently were out of money for the design and bidding because it was in Title II, which is the construction services. We said we'd cover Title II, so they're moving that money over to the design.
Redesign.
Yeah.
So,
And it's fundamentally done, so,
At the request, we brought
yeah.
in design and then you guys asked us to.
We
redesign.
trimmed it back, re-engineered it, value engineered it. It might be a good.
Yes, you did. Just,
so it's still the 1 year from when we put the contract notice to proceed. Like it's still like that's going to be the
We
anticipated
hope
completion.
to put it, yes, put it to bid and then at least start, I mean, ideally, we were hoping.
Now, this is a small enough scope. We expect the construction.
Then the year, the 3 drainage projects, the
All
goal.
the dates you see in here are just for the engineer's time. They aren't for the contractor.
But we did have to do a redesign based on
Yeah.
council's request.
Okay, then that helps clarify what I was reading through. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there any other discussion? Have a motion and a second? Okay. Can do this by all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. Go to planning, item number 1 is a property line adjustment, lot 25, block 7 of Clark's second edition.
Planning item number 1, an ordinance accepting a property line adjustment of lots 1 and 2, block 7 of Clark's second edition, and a portion of the alley vacated by ordinance 87-88, grading new lot 25, block 7 of Clark's second edition to the city of Bentonville, Arkansas, and for other purposes, project number PLA 26-0008.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Suter,
Yes.
Rover,
Yes.
Burkhart,
Yes.
Hook,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Acre,
Yes.
Zeba,
Yes.
Number 2 under planning is the property line adjustment of lots 23 and 24, block 2 of Lincoln and Rice Edition.
Planning item number 2, an ordinance accepting a property line adjustment of lots 20 and 21, block 2 of Lincoln and Rice Addition, creating new lots 23 and 24, block 2 of Lincoln and Rice Addition to the city of Bentonville, Arkansas, and for other purposes. Project number PLA 26-0011.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Rover,
Yes.
Burkhart,
Yes.
Hook,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Acre,
Yes.
Zeba, Suter,
Yes.
Okay, gonna get a motion to adjourn from our formal.
I have a question. Before we adjourn, can you address or Dan or somebody address the issue that was on the news for neighborhood on Fifth Street for drainage? Are we doing?
Do this, let's adjourn from our voting agenda and then we can.
So moved.
Question.
Second.
Motion in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And then, I guess with committee reviews, maybe we do that and you can ask that question.
Committee reviews, I have nothing.
AMP Commission met, just a couple of things. Kayleen wanted me to pass on how grateful she was to, all of the council members. Well, Councilmember Grover wasn't on the council yet, so you're excused, but, that the event that, there's not many times when we all, are at an event and everybody, all of us were at where they revealed the destination master plan, and she was just really grateful for the support that council has given to, Visit Bentonville. And she wanted me to tell you that printed copies are coming, within the next, week or two. She'll have a printed copy of that for, everyone on council. Their 2025 annual report is on their website. If you're interested, it's under About Us. Kind of have to go looking for it, but, and it's got some really good information on the economic impact of tourism. So, kind of some good, if you're interested in digging into some numbers, that's worth looking at. And then one other thing is the kiosks are up and running. So if anyone's been, they've got 4 kiosks. Crystal Bridge's parking garage, the trailhead at Compton Gardens, at the All-American Trail, the Momentary, and then at the new Visit Bentonville Visitor Center. So they've been kind of fun. So take a minute to play with those and kind of let people know that those are there to help find their way around town.
I have nothing.
Hey, ATAB met and we went over again some of the accidents that have happened. And then we also discussed all of the projects that are in process. So you can go look at those, all the projects. And then Public Art Advisory Board met and we recommended 3 actually proposals for the near the pitch. We had to replace that big cricket bat installation because it was falling apart and dangerous. So we had a new RFP and we had a lot of proposals come in, and we sent 3 to go to talk to the Indian cricket community, as well as it has to go through the Parks Board as well. And so they're going to look at those and get feedback from the cricket community to make sure that we're going in the right direction. And then eventually that will come to us to vote on. And then I hope everyone has had a chance to drive by the Jay and John DeShields roundabout. And if you haven't, please do, because the roundabout art is all up and installed and all the landscaping is there and it looks amazing. It's my neighborhood, so I get to drive by it every day and it's fantastic.
I saw somebody drive around it, pull over, get out and take a picture and then get back in their car. Cause I was trying to get to the meeting done.
Traffic jam.
And I was like, well, No, it was great though, 'cause it was the first time I'd seen it all done, and then somebody was stopping to take a
Yeah.
picture, and it was a nice
They
moment to see that
noticed.
they're noticing it, you know,
They
and getting-
really-
appreciating it.
The scope of it is really great because it's big and it's eye catching, it's colorful
Beautiful,
and it's
yeah.
really cool.
I heard good comments about it.
Good. Two things, we have applications out for, the water tower road roundabout. And then also America 250, we solicited we're doing a mosaic for What Do You Love About America. It started out with, junior high aged kids, but we haven't received as many as we'd hoped, so we did open that up to high school as well. And so if any of you know artists that love America that are in 6th through 12th, then let them know that those need to be in by July 15th.
Where will that go?
Well, it originally was supposed to go here, but now it's gonna go on the downtown activity center, right?
No, it's one in the
Just kidding,
library.
library.
Just kidding.
They were gonna try to do it on this side of this, but we've had some issues with, so I think it's gonna go now inside the.
It'll be more visible over there too. For people to see.
Okay. I sat on the NACA board, I did give a statement to the NACA board, so I have printed it to give to you all, just so you are aware of that. If you read it and you have any questions, you're welcome to ask those. But there are some, you know, I think you guys know that there's been a regional study going on in different things, and so this is sort of, and this was done in conjunction with our staff and trying to make sure we get in writing our thoughts to NACA board, so.
Thank you.
And y'all
Do
may,
you want us to have any questions?
you are welcome.
I have
to ask
I just have a quick question.
Okay.
I think I might have asked this one. There's all this talk and it's always in the news about regional wastewater solutions and how it's all gotta come together. Blah, blah, blah.
So,
And I sat on the council when we bought the land for NACA, and I thought it was the regional solution for wastewater. Is that still the case, or
yeah,
are these people trying to divert it to somewhere else?
so the gist of what there is a regional study, and if you read my comments, it'll probably be very clear. Our concern is that you're doing a regional study, but if another priority is how to solve immediate problems for other cities, and that jumps the regional piece of it and making sure we set it up as a regional entity. Our concern is that our contract needs to be renegotiated with the capacity for the new, for the expansion. And we don't want to allocate capacity out without doing that. So there's some,
Okay.
and, you know, we have to be smart about this, and again, plan for this and get the funding mechanism. And if eventually you have to do an expansion out there, you know, maybe that's a conversation that we plan for, but right now, just putting others on and taking the existing capacity that we've just built out is not something that we are in agreement with. And so my thoughts are in writing. You're welcome to
For instance, what's the buy, sell, you know, what is it to buy into this system that we've paid for to build? And you have a lot of board members that do not have any skin in the game making those decisions as well.
And there is a connection fee currently. They re-looked at the connection fee in this regional study. I'll be honest with you, more of our concerns rely around the allocation of capacity and getting that, all the existing contracts need to be renegotiated with that new capacity, because they're all based on the original capacity plan, not this new 7.2. And we feel very adamant that that's the right thing to do, and we don't want other things to be moved forward without doing it. There's also some other things in there that we feel very passionate need to be done to get it set up properly.
I guess my basic comment would be that I don't feel like Bentonville's gotten the credit it deserves from trying to solve a regional problem.
Yeah,
And I would like for us to I mean, toot our horn as loud as we can, because if we hadn't done that, yes, it would have been bad for Bentonville, but it would have been bad for a lot of other people too. So I mean, I think we were trying to be like out in front of it 20 something years ago. But nobody wanted to participate because
They were verbally,
the
they
rules were
did,
too
but they
hard.
didn't do what they verbally suggested.
Regional
So
Authority is trying to
it just feels
talk
kind of-
about that, but then they've also been sort of challenged with solving those immediate issues and that's where we're saying you need to slow down here because we can't solve this for this one because they haven't and jump our needs, right? Because
Because that issue
so
could have
that's-
been solved years
yes,
ago.
and
if it
so
had been
that's-
done correctly.
and anyways, I think it's articulated
Thank
pretty
you.
well in the statement.
The allocation of capacity is in a way an allocation of ownership, similar to what we did in Bella Vista, because 20 years ago, they pay a certain amount of money for the building of a pipe that takes water to them. So they have access to that specific amount of capacity. In the same way here, the NACA, it is built, currently built, and it has to have the capacity allocated to the cities who are participating and have contributed to the building of that particular facility. So yes, the point is in my mind well done in the sense of asking for ownership of the capacity of the plant.
The other thing I have, we did, give a proposal to the Library Foundation for consideration if we did a parking garage or if we had spaces, if they would consider helping to fundraise with that. So we just put it in front of them. This is nothing written in stone here, but I did want y'all to have that. I didn't really want to pass it out before you talked earlier, but this is one of the things we're saying, we want to go down all of the avenues and conversations to figure out what's really best. So about to you, again, it's a working document. It is not this is exactly what we're doing. It's some thoughts on the paper of things that could be considered. They will take it to their foundation board, I think at their next meeting. I don't think it happens till June or July, so there's, but I wanted to pass that out to you.
Does this have the estimate of the garage in it?
It does not, because we still need to get the design to get you, but we think the design can be pretty close to some existing parking garages, and so we could get you a better number with that. And our thought process was that we would not be, you'll see in there that we would be bringing multiple funding options to the table. It wouldn't just be on, they would, if they were willing to fundraise with us for something, naming rights of something or something, it would be just a piece of that pie we bring to the table for funding. I do not know, did have a conversation with them and they did say they would bring it to their board. They have some other thoughts of a direction that they're going right now, so I don't know that this is even a continued station, but I just wanted to put it in front of you. It's really hard to get you guys all the information and we need to be able to have some conversation, so.
Just real quick on the parking garage, is the parking garage the only way to solve the problem? Or have we looked at what it would cost to buy all the real estate surrounding the parking? I mean,
I think
it could be
because we
expensive,
own
but-
the land, the surface parking, it's really, the most efficient thing is to go up on, right?
But if we had, if that weren't possible, maybe a short-term.
Is there
option would
more
be to
surface
acquire
parking? Well, I
real
think what
estate.
we would end up, even to build the parking garage, we're gonna need some temporary parking, and I think we would work with some existing owners that haven't yet. That would be the goal, developed, to try to have the temporary parking. Cause you're gonna have to figure that
Yeah.
piece of the pie out too, I mean, and it's like, it's just, we either, we do it, we try to solve it now, or things get built on, kind of like
And it-
drainage ponds, but we talked about earlier, we had the thought process of drainage ponds and then to deal with some of the stormwater, but then a lot of those have been built on, and so same kind of thought process here, we either try to solve it with existing land that we have and go up, you know, that's.
Two bits on library parking, I'm the new guy. I go to library every day, there pretty much every day. There is occasionally, hard to find a parking spot immediately between the hours of, say, like 10 and 12, something like that. But if you hang out in the parking lot for about 3 minutes, their spot opens up. That's the only time I've ever had a hard time finding parking. And I know that the feedback is very loud. And yes, it is loud. The conversation around not allowing or making it library parking only has come up. And my understanding is that is less desirable because then it requires maintenance. It has to be
Well, we
babysat.
are doing signs, and she's getting those signs made now to just see if we, you know, I think.
What did you mean?
The truth of the matter
What did you mean?
is we have.
That if we're gonna
use
make it
that
library
parking.
parking
We
only,
also have
we have to police
the
it.
public that use it, that come in for other events, right? And so, so I think that's the question is,
It's just the one.
the downtown's we're only gonna continue to grow, so do we wanna try to solve for some of that parking? I mean, there's not gonna be more opportunity in the future if you.
My
Well,
only
that's the
reason, my
thing.
only reason to bring it up is simply that, yes, it's going to get worse. But I think people are a lot louder than the problem really is right now.
The problem is though, and I don't know if you realize this or not, they're not doing any holds from now to the end of summer. And so those holds, like you run in, get your thing and leave. So now there's not gonna be as many cars leaving as quickly. Like you can't put any items on hold for the summer. So like what I would drive around and around and around, get a parking space, and then I was gone in 5 minutes. But that's not gonna happen. And so that's
Interesting.
gonna change, that's good, that is gonna change the dynamic.
It's not just in it's not just solving for the library parking, it is trying to think about parking long-term for
Future.
future,
retail.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, certainly
as it
long-term.
develops. And I think that's the and that's why we'd like to have some opportunity to kind of have some conversations to see, because it could be that you do, I mean, you have businesses that use some of that. Maybe there's conversations there of how do we get them to pay into or buy into something, or how do we, and we do have parking districts. This is outside of that, but there could be a, you know, a conversation there. I think we just want to be able to have some conversations. You say we have the conversations and nothing comes of it, then nothing comes of it. But I just feel like we need that opportunity to really fully put it out. But I do think that, again, I wish the shared parking concept would work forever. I think what we're finding is it doesn't work forever, and our current parking requirements, you know, we may not want to change those, but we may want to take on trying to find solutions that offer a solution for everybody, for the businesses, for library, for.
And-
Well, and to her point, if there's a modification in a process that we're doing that's causing more longer term parking, if we could adjust that for the summer where we didn't have that, we could go back to moving those spaces. And we could look at all facets of this.
I think,
I would also say, I think if we want to continue to program the library and have more and more events there, I mean, it is really, the problem becomes more when they do have the larger events, the
Yeah.
story times, the
Right.
big, if the Walmart room is full. And so if we want to keep that programmed more, I think that's when you're going to see
Right.
more of the issues with the parking too. And so.
that was my biggest regret when we built the library, is because I always put things on hold and then I run in and get it. And I was like, why did we not do a drive-through? Because, you know, it already has my name in it, but I will drive around trying to find a parking space longer than I will to check out my item that's on hold. So
Yeah.
when they said they weren't gonna do that, and if that's what they need to do for the summer, that's great. But we are going to notice there's not gonna be as
Good
many
point,
people
yeah.
pulling in and out, because I literally was only parked there 5-6 minutes.
I think that's.
But, and the hold spot is crowded. I mean, there's a lot of people that run in and run out.
I think the bigger picture is you want the library to offer more and more programs. They're only going to grow and you want the Walmart room filled often. I mean, that's 250 people
Yeah.
for that. And that's where you're going to continue to run into the real parking. It's not necessarily the everyday, but if you want those programs to grow or more people, renting those spaces, or which I think you will get just naturally because you'll see a parking issue more and more often with that. That's just my.
Let's get it.
The Tree and Landscape met last Thursday, and I'm going to mention something that is going to be coming to city council, but there has been some work put into creating an ordinance for property maintenance, and it's to establish an exemption for managed native and pollinator landscapes. We're gonna get the agenda on Thursday, and again, it's a quick turnaround. Because I serve on Tree and Landscape, I've had the opportunity to already say, hey, what do you think about this? And when you really think about it and you look at it, it could cause issues, because some people want to have a whole yard with native plants and pollinators and not have to mow, basically, so they can, and Shelley's not here, so I don't want to describe it. Just from what my understanding is, so basically you get a permit and you say, hey, I'm just gonna let my yard go and I'm gonna have these native pollinators, things like that. Which sounds great and it sounds very good for the environment. But some of the pushback and feedback I'm already getting is, what about the snakes? What about the, what if? And so I just want to give you guys a little more time, and you can request a copy of it. I think it's in draft form, just because I think we need to find out from the constituents, because if their next door neighbor decides, hey, and again, with every issue, parking and everything else, who's going to go out and check and make sure that everything they have in that yard is native and not invasive, that type of thing. And so the Tree and Landscape passed it like hands down. They loved it. They thought it was great. Me looking at it comprehensively across the city and talking to constituents, I could see where it could cause some pushback.
Is there a limit or you're gonna make your whole?
Well, that's what I would like for you to request the draft. That was something that Shelley proposed and they
Like
did
a
not.
percentage.
Yes, that
Like a
was
percentage
something
of
that
the yard.
because I think Bella Vista has that. And I'm not a voting member, so I don't really get to put input in. But I think that's something, if you look at it, I think that might be a better direction, but I don't want to speak too prematurely because this is what they presented to them. My understanding is it will be coming to council the next meeting, which is not a lot of turnaround time, as we find out in all of these, meetings where people have strong opinions either way. I haven't found anybody that has been like, I could go either way. It's either they hate it or they love it.
I think
Have some information on this that I'm happy to, I don't know how I'm legally
This is great.
allowed to share.
That's why I brought it
Well,
up.
it's pictures and examples and research and all those kinds of things. So if anybody wants to see, like, this is what this will look like, I can share that. So I don't know if I need to send that to your office.
Can send it and we can send it out.
I can just send it to everyone.
Yeah, I mean, the question always on this stuff is, we hope everybody, what is the enforcement mechanism?
Mhm. And that's is my biggest draw, is
Very
enforcement.
Clear of what happens if we go out there and it's not all, because we will get,
The same
I
thing that happens
anticipate we
now
will
is
get.
you tell them they need to fix it. That's what
Yeah,
happens
it's kind
now.
of, but you've seen my
kind of like-
father-in-law's.
And you're gonna
The
see
yard
this
next to his
too,
house.
like for instance, I don't really want to bring this up, but like our noise ordinance, right? How that
That we're
gets,
hearing right now.
is challenging. And so what I am asking on all this stuff is that we have a very clear direction for the enforcement piece of
I think
it.
it's gonna be, I mean, we're asking then our code enforcement individuals to go
Well,
out and
that's what I'm saying.
enforce
So if they
state.
go,
So
but
they're gonna
and
need
you don't know if
education.
what's in there, if they
It's
go
gonna
out
have
and
to
they
be a
don't. If it's,
that actually has to go out, because I mean, once you get an invasive species, I mean, it could take over
I
the,
think I think you're already seeing,
Like rain gardens, you could put.
People are doing a lot of it now.
people
Maybe
are
they're-
doing it now and they're just kind of mowing the edges up, like, and so I think they're trying to solve for that because technically, I think the current code, you're supposed to, but
but this would change that.
we are allowing it. So just, you know, it's
I'm
kind
just-
of being
I'm
allowed
saying
now.
Just because something is new and something poses a problem may not mean that it's not the right direction to go. And so, yes, Holly's right. We should have time to take a look at it, to see the research, to see that there are cities that are actually paying people to do these types of things because it is good for the environment. It's good for water retention, so water doesn't flow as fast over things. There are a lot of benefits to it, so great, we should pay attention to what the unintended consequences might be, but we also need to pay attention to what are the benefits that could come as a result. So if anybody wants the research that I've been given, so you can see what this looks like, because you're right, there's a process to it. It starts out looking rough and you have to manage it and you have to tend it. And there are people that are passionate about this and they're going to do that. So just because it's not easy doesn't mean it's wrong. So I would just like to share that.
It's similar to, we have a traditional stormwater. We have a typical infrastructure for stormwater that we've been enforcing and have designed for years. And even though we passed green building programs, which allowed gray water back in 07 or 05, nobody really understands it, and you still have to do the traditional method. But there are methods and projects that I've seen that won awards the other night that is using, similar to what we did over there on Bright Road, where we're gathering, there's no curb and gutter, there's rain gardens, and you're sloping into areas of natural habitat and letting the ground hold the water much longer without the runoff. We don't use as much water. So there's aspects of this that can not only be yards, but it also can influence how we look at our future water control and stormwater. Instead of rushing it all out of town, how do we collect and keep more of it? And so I think it's a valid conversation. There is, always challenges to everything, but I'm looking forward to having a conversation about it. I'm not on either side. Now, we do have areas, but we have land. We save lots of it for the pollinators, the birds and the bees, and we have swarms of bees that come through and, so we have them from first of spring to something for them to eat at the very end. So it's, I get it.
So my suggestion is just reach out to Shelley and ask for this. I would say it's a draft, but it would at least to give you more time to start working on it, because to me, it's something that really needs to be looked at and to understand
sure.
clearly. So, yeah, it's more just to give you pre-warning, since this was a big part of our discussion.
Ask if it's in draft form, like, make sure if you're getting that everybody realizes it's in draft form, because that's sometimes what can get us. The other thing I would also remind you of, we're trying to get these things together as quickly as we can and get them in front of you. Sometimes we're getting them together as quickly as we can, and we put it on agenda, but you do have the mechanism to table things for future, for more consideration. So just always remember that again.
For sure.
Do everything as fast as we can.
And that's all I have.
Any other? Matt, you had a question?
I have a question about, in light of the news story that came out on Fifth Street neighborhoods flooding, I thought we had already done something in the past on drainage in that area. Is there something else we're doing, or How
So
are we
we
responding?
have done, there was a drainage study done by Meshack Engineering in 2020. And there were 7 items listed, and one of those were installing some trench drains to try to move the water away from the flooding area and run it through a pond that wasn't being used to its full capacity. We've done that. That was done about 4 years ago. I did show some minor improvements. The pond is working now, and I think when I came, it's probably 4 years ago, I came before this body and said, we've done some work. It's going to make an improvement, but unless you put gauges out there, you're probably not going to see the improvement. It has been, in at least my opinion, driving by, and I drove by last Tuesday because I happened to be out of that part of town when it was raining. The water seemed to be a lot less than it had been in the past. Holly, I think you sent a picture in of a car driving into the water from this last.
Car got stuck. That picture got sent to me. I was out of
Okay.
town.
Well,
So,
when I
mean,
drove
cars
by
are Still
that,
getting
yeah,
stuck.
when I drove by there, that car was still sitting there. I don't know what time the photo.
Well, it wouldn't go. The electrical system went out on.
So we did do some work. It appears to have decreased, but that is a much larger, there's actually 7 different problem areas. And that was the one we could work on without causing additional flooding downstream. So we did that. One of the items on that list, I think it's problem area number 7, is actually the pipe along Battlefield, which has been part of the bond project that we've been working on that gets stalled. Huh?
It got caught up in all the other
It's
stuff.
caught
and
up
we've
in
been
other
waiting to
things
get that.
happening. That has still got to happen first, so we can, because if we start releasing that water, it just starts flooding the next property downstream. And there are things being done. We're on the same schedule we discussed in 2020 when this came up, is get Battlefield's drainage issue solved, and then we have a place to dump this water.
The ordinance is on the tree and landscape agenda.
Good.
What-
Thank you. And she was gonna try to get it, and it's probably his final
I
draft.
skipped my turn, but the Saturday is the Adult Recreation Center grand opening and ribbon cutting, and I think the ribbon cutting is at 10:50. 10:50.
The email from Lisa said 10:50.
10:50, precisely at 10:50.
Yeah.
So you get there early and have some
Is there gonna be
food
parking?
and drink in the street.
Not those.
Better get there real early to find parking.
Park at the church,
Well, because there's gonna be the farmer's market.
unless there's a funeral.
And then just also, one other thing I wanted to,
15?
we are,
10:15.
It is 10:15?
the parking, the parking garage on Central is open. So we are moving forward with the phase 2 of Dave Hill there, but I think what's not getting communicated in everything is that the new parking garage is open. So yes, we are getting ready to start work on phase 2, but there is, and we have waited to do this to get the new parking garage, so there is parking. And so if y'all can help us
We need to get
communicate that, we've tried to, Downtown Bentonville Inc. has done a video trying to explain that. We've been in contact with the business owners down there, but, I'm not sure, every post I see, they're just putting in the signs that show that we're, and not showing that we just opened this new parking garage. And so if y'all want to help us communicate that, that would be great.
Michael, have we done a press release showing that now that we've opened the parking garage, we've waited on that to maybe maybe the news will push it out too, that says, hey, we waited to do this. Now that we have more than enough parking that we're taking out, that we can do that. I haven't seen it in the news. I'm just curious.
Parks does those, so I'm not sure if they've sent one out or not, but I can check. And then real quickly on the ARC, looking at the schedule, the event starts at 10 o'clock and it goes, the very last thing is the ribbon cutting at 10:50.
10:50, yeah.
That's what.
Okay.
Lisa
And that's what Lisa sent out, so, yeah,
But if you want to be
10:50.
part of the whole thing, be there at 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
School's out now, you're gonna see more bikes and pedestrians. Please keep an eye out for our kids.
I couldn't believe the difference today. It was such a blessing.
I didn't notice.
All of a sudden I turned left and I'm thinking, wow, this is really great.
I like those school buses.
What everybody's using.
Going through my neighborhood, 45 miles. Okay, well,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't